Hey everyone, this is Mo Allen, back for another ride. In this ride, I'm doing the Stage 5 Tour of Watopia, the middle distance, the B distance, on the Wasted 8 route. I will be riding this ride as if it was a race, as a lot of people in the front do. So the strategy is to stay with the front for as long as I can. That is basically it. I try in the beginning, if a small number of riders get away, I don't chase. I just stay with the group that might chase. Otherwise, I try not to let the peloton get away, the front. Closer to the end of the ride, I mark individual or small groups of riders differently, but in the beginning, I'm just staying with the larger groups, not worrying about breakaways. I'm not strong enough, likely, with the riders at the front here. You never know what category these riders are in because it's a group ride, so everyone's listed as B. You don't really know if someone's an A rider or a D rider or anything in between. So I myself am classified as a B rider. I forget what my Zwift score is, maybe racing score, the Zwift racing score, maybe 570 or something like that. But so you can see right here, favoring a little higher cadence to start, trying not to burn out the legs, grinding out power at lower cadence. I still, on my bike setup, I still don't have the ability to shift down into my small ring, which is totally my fault, but that's just the way I ride. I only ride in the big ring for many months now. I have to get my bike serviced. But anyway, so I'm in the big ring here. At the end of the ride, I actually run out of gears for the sprint at the end. I was surprised actually that I was in my hardest gear at one point. Not that I would have had too much more at that time, but I did try to shift down and was surprised that I was in the last gear. But yeah, right here, just keeping on the power, staying with the front, trying to keep an eye on the watts of the riders in front of me, just to see if anyone's spinning up. I think for me, it's probably obvious, but for me, that's been a big benefit to my trying to stay with the group, is to keep an eye on the riders in front, their wattage. Something I did for sure early on, but I'm doing it more intently now and checking it more, and I think it's helping for my reaction time, just to make sure I wind up and stay with the group. 3.5 minutes in here, 340 watt average. It's pretty high for me. I think my rider weight in Zwift is 95 or 96 kilograms, so 340 watts is, while that raw power is high, it's around 3.4 watts per kilogram for me, I think, somewhere around there. My FTP in Zwift, I haven't done an FTP test in a while, but I think it's, I actually forget, 330 maybe, something like that. But I'm not sure how accurate that is, to be honest with you. Probably time for an FTP test soon, maybe. But this is my second ride after the Tour of Britannia, the FRR Tour of Britannia, that 10-day in a row event that I did. I took 2 days off and then came back, and I did this short distance on the Loop and Lava route, which is on YouTube as well, on my channel. And then I took off yesterday, and then I'm back today with this. The Loop and Lava course I did just as Z2 with a little pickup on the volcano climb, but definitely not racing it, just a steady effort. So this here is my second time going into the new Jarvis Island route here. As I mentioned on the last video, I've been Zwifting since 2015, so I am familiar with the original Jarvis. So it was quite a pleasure to see the remake here yesterday or 2 days ago, the first time I saw it. Anyway, so in a big group here, I knew that at this point my legs are feeling it in my quads. When I have to pick up on the power, I can feel it in the quads. So I knew I wasn't going to be incredibly strong on any little inclines. I'm familiar with the inclines through Jarvis. So I just figured I would try to not contend at the very front of the climbs and not stay with anyone going off on the climbs, but try to stay with a group as much as I could. My strategy going into it is to just try to crank out the power seated as much as I could. I tend to rely on standing up to produce power, I think a little too much, and I'm trying to train myself away from that. So that's I made a little strides towards that in this ride. I don't even know if I stand up on this first red section at all. But you can see here is where the group inevitably starts to string out, and there I go standing up. So I'm up over 500 watts here, around 5 watts per kilogram. Just trying to keep a little bit of contact, but not go too crazy. The route is a little over 30 kilometers, I think. I knew if I burned myself out too much here, then I would just drop too far back. So you can see already 27 riders in front of me, just for that little effort there. And I'm gonna lose some more places going up this next effort. But again, you can see keeping on the 4 to 5 watts for this effort, so I knew I couldn't sustain this for too long. I mean, the front group is still in contact, but here, even this little split, I probably am not even going to make it back to that front group here. So I knew that this is where the damage for me would be done. And then I needed to just settle in and figure out what kind of group I could stay with. Here at the top of this, I was really feeling it, 185 beats a minute. And I knew that here was crucial if I did want to try to keep in touch with the group in front, that I was going to have to push a little harder, and I just was not feeling like pushing. You can see me back off here. Really, I needed to keep the power up over that bump and into this decline. My rider weight allows me to gain a little more than others on the decline, so I could have used that here, but I decided to just stay with this group. Here, though, I think it was tantalizing seeing how close the group was. You may see one more sort of push for me to try to keep contact, but I don't know if I ever get back to these riders in front. I don't believe I do. You can see them pulling away from me here. So here I am trying to, I'm really close. I don't know that I get back to that group. I'm pretty sure I don't. I could have, I'm backing off here. They're really close, and I could have put an effort in to get back to them, so I don't believe I ever do. And I wonder whether or not I should have it. And here comes a decline too, so this is really where, if I was feeling stronger, I would have kept on some power down this decline and caught that group. But I decide to sit up and wait for the group behind and know that that's my new group, and I'm in the group 36 riders back. I even take some time off here to coast down the hill, let the riders behind catch up. At this point, I'm settling in to this group. I didn't do recon on this route, so I actually wasn't aware of even the total elevation or where the route took us. So I was cautious. Again, just that strategy of marking the riders here, trying to keep contact. Another thing that I'm working on strategy-wise is not being at the front of the group when I don't need to. So I used to be afraid to be in the back like I am here. I'm basically the last rider in this little group, and that used to freak me out. And my coach would always tell me not to yo-yo, because I would be in the back and then I would go up to the front and I would go to the back and to the front. But I'm more comfortable now sitting in the back and benefiting from the draft. I've always said for me that like the draft effect is not really, like it's not, I don't know how to explain it, it's not felt enough for me. Do you know what I mean? Like sitting here, it doesn't feel like I'm benefiting from the draft, even though I know that that's, what's programmed into the game, and I'm sure that that's what I'm benefiting from. But I don't know, I don't have that connection with what it means to be in the draft yet. Possibly because I've never experienced like a draft in real life. I've never really ridden with a large group and experienced like a group draft. So it's sort of a foreign concept, and I think I just am always skeptical that it's actually like doing anything. So I don't really know like where in the group I'm getting the best draft. I know there's that sauce plugin that you can install or add that will give you the statistics of what kind of draft percentage you're benefiting from. And maybe that's something that I should look into. I think that would help me a lot, actually, to understand the group dynamics, because it really is foreign for me, and I'm sure I waste quite a bit of energy because I don't understand it as well as I do, or as well as I should. So right here, I'm anticipating this little S curve that goes up into the flats. So I know I gotta keep on the power and just cover any moves that happen here. And it's a very short, not steep incline, but enough to sap legs for even 15 minutes in, and someone might wait. So I'm just anticipating what I have to do here. It felt pretty good sitting down and putting the power out. So I think I stay seated this whole time. Just trying to get to the top of this and recover. And after this on the pavement, there's gonna be another little bump before a decline. So I'm just managing the efforts here, trying to stay with the group. So here you'll see I actually decided to use the truck power-up. I don't actually remember doing that, so I must have felt like I needed a little extra. Again, the power-ups are similar to the draft for me. I know that they must be doing something, but I don't actually realize or feel their effects at all. It's almost like, for me, it might as well be doing nothing. Again, I know it's doing something, but it doesn't seem like it makes a difference to me. But I use them where I think I'm supposed to. So that's what I did there, just to keep contact. Usually if I'm feeling strong, I'll save, and I know what the route is. I'll save the power-ups for advantageous places, but there's probably a little moment of weakness there. So here, just looking forward to the downhill, get a little bit of recovery. You'll see me switch to an easier gear, especially on the downhills, and spin higher, just to save the legs, which is what I did just there, while not losing the group. So here you'll see that I have to wind things up a bit as the group made contact with some riders up front, and there was some pushing at the front. So just a little bit of an effort to keep on the back, a little bit of a surge downhill just to get a couple of seconds of recovery. Allow my momentum to take me back into the group on the flats after the downhill and get ready for this next little bump out of the tunnels here, coming up shortly. Here I switched down to a harder gear and just getting to the front of the climb to do the climb on my own terms rather than having to fight for staying on wheels from behind. It's a short enough climb that I can do that, so I figured I'd just get to the front and make sure I've made it with my own effort and let the group catch me up and just keep contact. At this point, I remembered from watching my coach stream his ride, which I didn't get to watch all of, but from this point on, I think I watched it, and I remember that there aren't any more climbs. So here I was just getting ready for, well, I guess there's maybe a little bump coming up here, but I was just getting ready for some controlled efforts, keeping an eye on the group, staying focused, make sure I keep contact on the flats, and then had a lot of time to think about how the legs were doing and what kind of sprint effort I might be able to do. So here I notice a couple riders pushing over 4, 5, 6 watts per kilogram. So I knew the group was going to get strung out, and just paying attention. We got one rider going off the front here, so things were starting to get a little spicy, and I'm just trying to keep contact, not waste too much, but not let any breaks go. So I decided to go with this front group here, realizing quickly that it wasn't a clean break. They weren't going to get away, so it was sort of a wasted effort at the front, but I had to stick with it and cover it just in case the group comes back together here. And with less than 4 kilometers to go, really starting to check in with the legs. You'll see me sometimes. I will often, as is, I just noticed that 10 in the clouds over there to the right for Zwift's 10th anniversary. So you'll see me sometimes consciously dropping my shoulders, make sure I'm not tensing unnecessarily. I tend to, over time, slowly tense the shoulders and bring them up towards the ears. So just trying to, every once in a while, check in and drop the shoulders. Try to stay as loose as I can. Hard to do, but several times throughout my rides, I try to consciously do it. You'll also see me breathing a lot out of my mouth here. I could do a little better with some deep breathing, but it's understandable at the end of some of these rides that some of that falls off. Here we got a little over 2 kilometers to go. I realize for sure now that we're going to be flat to the finish, so really just making sure to stay with the group and get ready to contend as much as I can on the sprint. So here, a little before this, I start to remember what the actual finish line is. Before this, I thought maybe we finished in Jarvis, but now I remember watching, again, my coach's stream of his ride, and that it finishes in downtown Watopia here. So see people winding up here, so I'm just trying to stay towards the front. Some really early power-ups here. Interestingly, you may see it. I know that I looked down because I was surprised I ran out of gears. I don't know what gear I'm in here. I might be one less than my hardest gear, and then I switch into the hardest gear, or at least I think I do, and I realized that I have no more gears left. Which I was surprised by. I don't know if, I guess I don't look here. Maybe I look after. Let's see. Yeah, you see me look right there under my arm a little bit to check, because I was surprised that I actually ran out of gears. I didn't realize those were my hardest gear. But the sprint there was pretty good for me. I think I topped out a little over 900 watts. So after 43 minutes, it was a good effort. I'm glad I did it. My next ride, I think, is going to be the A distance for stage 5, which I think is the Deca Dash route. And I probably plan to do that on Sunday, the 18th of November. Thanks for watching. Appreciate it. I'll talk to you all later. Bye.